So I just figure I'd get into this right away. Give me a second. Got to make sure everything is up and ready to go. All right. All right. Today we're going to talk about political hypocrites. I haven't heard from Kyle Kalinske in quite a long time. He's been silenced. Mum's the word. Mum's the word, y'all. Mum's the word. Good day. My name is Robert Brown, Bob TV, Bobby of the Bobby Brown Show. Welcome to another episode of the Bobby Brown Show. Today I'm going to be talking about political hypocrites. Two in particular. Just want to make sure everybody can hear me. Make sure my sound is up. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3. All right. So, Cal's been missing. Haven't heard from him much since Marianne Williamson has been showing herself to be true compared to those articles that has been written up in a couple of publications, specifically Politico. And I'm going to get right into it because recently, Kyle Kalinske, let me get over here. He went on his show and talked about Marianne Williamson and how upset he was about what was going down with her in the media. Playing protector, playing cover up, acting like that's his girl, is Kyle Kalinske.
Not gonna lie to y'all, I am furious. So we just had the very first detailed, over-the-top smear campaign article waged against Marianne Williamson. And we're going to get into all of it. We're going to dive into all of it. I'm going to break it down for you. But suffice to say, and this is the most important point that everybody needs to understand, the people who wrote this article.
Now, before we go any further, I want to say fair use, YouTube, fair use, not paying for, I'm not asking people to pay to watch this. This is not being monetized. Always have the monetization off. I never turn it on because I know you're going to try to say it's being demonetized because of what I'm talking about. So to nip it in the bud, I'm going to beat you to the punch. I never monetize my videos. If people want to contribute to the video, that's up to them. They can hit this information right there if they want to contribute, but that's their own prerogative. I don't ask them for it. I just say, if you want to, go for it. If not, go for it. Don't super chat. Don't do nothing. Hit that information right there. Buy a brother a cup of coffee. Other than that, let's get back into it.
Article for Politico. More on Politico a little later. because boy, oh boy, do they have a record that they would like to hide. Okay.
Pissed.
But they went into this going, how do we take down Marianne Williamson? How do we smear Marianne Williamson?
No, Cal. Marianne Williamson is not that important. She is so low on the radar that it's ridiculous. The only reason Joe Biden is barely beating her is because he's just as bad. Neither one of them are just as good. Neither one of them have the political fortitude to actually want to lead and try to lead this country. Most of these people are doing what they do because of their own personal vanity project. Joe Biden always wanted to be president, whether he was going to contribute to the world or not. He just wanted to be in that political position of power. Marianne Williamson, I don't know why she's running. Personally, she needs to stay in her lane. She's good at what she's doing over there. Stay over there, girl. Stay over there. Don't be coming over here messing up stuff. We got some serious issues in the world that need some tending to, and we don't need you to try to emotionalize and spiritualize everything when a lot of this stuff is physical too, okay, and mental too. But anyway, I just want to say that. But Cal has an overexpression of his girl Marianne Williamson. They didn't go in here saying we need to take her down. That's just how political is. They're gonna report either negative things or positive things about a person. What do you think they're gonna do, Cal? Just report positive things about her? Do you expect them to report positive things at all about Marianne Williamson? And why do you think they should do it anyway?
How do we destroy Marianne Williamson's reputation? How do we like snuff out this baby of her campaign in the crib? That was the intention going into it. Now remember, they pretend like, oh,
he had to say in the crib because he didn't want to say in the womb because, you know.
Us, bro? We're just like neutral and objective fact finders. We're like the serious media people, so we go into everything with an open mind and then sort of let the stories write themselves because we're really neutral and objective and whatnot. Nothing could be further from the truth. They had it out for her from the very beginning. The person who wrote this article was fishing around saying, how do I destroy Marianne Williamson and her campaign? Okay.
Now let's deal with this because this pisses me off about Cal. Like he reads into the mind of these people who write these articles. People write articles because number one, they may be told to write an article, may not have no relationship with the person, but their boss told them to write an article on this person, maybe because the boss have a problem. Number two, people want to have juicy stories so people can always come back and look for them to write the next article. They do it for their own growth and popularity. It doesn't mean they're out to get somebody. They're doing it because they got a job and they want to perform a job, whether it's grimy, slimy, and slummy, or whether it's great, ethical articles. It's just the way it is, Cal. No one, I repeat, no one is that doggone scared of Marianne Williamson that they're trying to target her like that. This is just the name of the game with any person that runs for office. She decided to run against an incumbent, so what do you think they're going to do? They're going to write pieces on Joe Biden, because I just read one about Joe Biden's horrible approval rating. They're going to write pieces about her. They're going to write pieces about Trump. They're going to write pieces about DeSantis. That's what they do. They write pieces, whether it's a hit piece or a pup piece. That's what they do because their job is to sell papers. You taking it personal.
Okay, so here's the article. Let me throw up on screen for you. This again in Politico. Marianne Williamson's abusive treatment of 2020 campaign staff revealed. The self-help guru who is running for president again was emotionally and verbally abusive to staff, according to interviews with former employees. So, I'll get into this.
Now, there are 12 employees that work for Marianne Williamson who discuss with them how she can get sometimes. Doesn't mean she's like that always. A lot of reports said, hey, I like working with Marianne Williams. She just snaps sometimes. And you got to learn how to deal with it or leave. But that's just how she is. She's lovey-dovey all on this camera, and she's calm and collective all on camera. But she'll snap on you off camera. As long as she know the camera is on, she's going to perform. But the camera is off, she's going to perform. She's going to show her class off if you challenge her. She's done it with Nick and CJ and Sabby on Revolutionary RBN on RBN. She went off on a person in the chat room who said that she ain't feeling this interview when obviously she wasn't feeling it to the point that she was ready to go. The lady is not all peachy cream and roses, Kyle. She has a dark side. Everybody has a dark side. Some people, dark side, are easy to come out quicker. All you have to do is poke them the right way. And this is what these staffers are saying.
Specific points they make in a second, but understand something, guys. Politics 101 is take your opponent's strength and turn it into their weakness. That's politics 101. So with Marianne Williams,
actually, politics 101, and you should know this, Kyle, is to define your opponent before he define you. It's not take the weaknesses and make it a strength. It's you need to paint the picture of who your opponent is before their opponent. Now, in this case, they're doing that, but not like he's doing it. And look, Marianne Williamson give them the paintbrush to paint the picture. She give them the paint, the paintbrush, the canvas, and everything. Matter of fact, she painted the canvas herself a long time ago, and these articles are the reason, are proof positive why she's in this predicament right now, why Kyle is pissed off right now. Kyle is pissed off because they're texting this girl. Like that's not going to happen, dude. It's going to happen. It's got to happen, dude. It's like a guy walk up on me with a gun and he say, run it. I'm not going to challenge him. If I got money in my pocket, he getting it. What I look like challenging him? Don't start that, guys. I don't keep no money on me, so you'll be it's like robbing dominoes. You better hope you can get $20 out of me.
Williamson, what do we know for sure? What do we know as a rock solid fact? In the 1980s, when everybody was running away from HIV and AIDS patients at 100 miles an hour, Marianne Williamson was holding their hands and giving them their medicine as they died.
And so was a lot of people in ministry, a lot of people who claim to be spiritual leaders, a lot of people claim to be spiritual people. They reached out to the AIDS community. That's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to be compassionate ones. If you're going to preach a gospel, you got to walk and talk and teach as well as teach the gospel. And the best way to teach it is in action. Of course, you're going to be out there. And if you got cameras out there and you trying to prove to people that you're this tenderhearted person, of course, you're going to do it in front of the camera. The thing is, what do you do when the camera is off? What do you do when there's no media? She may have been holding hands, but her staffers back then, when she started that organization, that community center, said she was snapping off on them. Back then, guys, you got to go, and I'm not going to read the entire article, but there was multiple articles on Marianne Williamson and how she treated the people that worked in the organization. When I think she set up an outreach, and that outreach was to reach out to AIDS patients, but yet she wasn't all that nice there, and they reported that. Cal ain't going to tell you that. Likewise, in this situation, her staffers of the last campaign talked about how she snaps off on them for some of the smallest reasons. But Kyle's not going to tell you that. He's just going to tell you how good she is. He's not going to tell you how bad she is. And that's his job. Know why? Because he's a puppeteer for Marianne Williamson.
And giving them love and affection as they died. So take the biggest upside of Marianne Williamson, her kindness, her sympathy, her empathy, and turn it into a weakness and go, actually, you guys might not know this, she's the worst person in the world to have ever lived, ever. Wow. Now, the other portion of
they claim Dr. Fauci was the same way. Kind, held AIDS patient hand, tried to treat him with all different kind of treatment. They say the same thing about Dr. Fauci. Try to calm down, guys. Dr. Fauci. Oh, Dr. Fauci's so sweet. Oh, he's so compassionate. And Trump lucky to have him on his team. And why is Trump is always going against Dr. Fauci? He knows most of it. He knows he's compassionate. He's loving. Why would he give you something that's going to harm you? Why? Stop that crap. Like I said, Nino Brown gave turkeys to every home in the hood that he was selling drugs in and had people doped up and killing in the same area. Stop that mess.
They're going to try to do what's called divide and conquer. So take the people who are more likely to support Marianne Williamson at this moment, which is like the left-wing base, and try to put a wedge in between them and get a lot of the people who are already loyal supporters to go, well, I don't know, now I need to reevaluate. So again, you take their strength and you try to turn it into a weakness. And that's what we're looking at right now. So here's the arguments that they make. They say, she preaches love and kindness, but in reality, she's mean. And she yelled at staffers. And one time, she got so...
Jim Jones preached love and kindness. But it took a whole bunch of people to Guyana and slaughtered them by having them drink cyanide poison or whatever they call it. Mixed with Wilders. People call it drink the Kool-Aid. It was actually Wilders. It wasn't Kool-Aid. He mixed cyanide in some Wilders and had the people drink it and die. But he was such a nice guy. But when the camera was not around Jim Jones, he was evil as a junkyard dog.
Said that she hit a car door and injured her own hand. And they have an anonymous staffer who said, oh, she threw a phone at them. But of course, Marianne Williamson comes out and categorically denies it and says that never happened. And it's libelous and it is slanderous and it's totally untrue. They also...
So if she said it never happened, that means it's untrue. You got jails full of people saying they ain't did it. Now, obviously, you know, some of them did it. Some of them didn't. You cannot judge that cow just because she says so. If they said she did it, then the proof is in the pudding through evidence and through trial and testimony. You just assuming what she said. Just like somebody assuming what the other party said. But when you got multiple parties saying yeah, she did this. Yeah, Hillary Clinton took a glass of champagne and threw it at Donna Brazile and hit it on the wall. Why? There were witnesses. Cal, you can't say these things because there were witnesses of her throwing this thing at this dude, man. Is something else. Witnesses.
So, here's another one of the criticisms in there. She's really indecisive. So she would have an event that was on the schedule. She'd be getting ready for that event, and then she'd cancel that event, and then she'd put that event back on, and that would anger her staff. And she would like yell in the process of doing these things. Then they go on to say, again, it's amazing to me. It's politics 101. Take the strength, turn it into the weakness. They say, oh, she's actually so rude that she mocks people's appearances and she goes after them for their weight. So she fat shames people. These are arguments that are tailor-made to try to get like a left-wing base to abandon her when, of course, the left-wing base is like the only group in the country right now that's already sort of solid supporters.
You see the reason why he had to tilt his head? Because this Negro is lying. He's lying. He is lying. Let me go back to what he said. I got to get through this because this is 18 minutes, man.
Base to abandon her when, of course, the left turn into the weakness. They say, oh, she's actually so rude that she mocks people's appearances and she goes after them for their weight.
It's a lot of people that fat shame people. There's a lot of people that just tell people, hey, you need to lose some weight. This is not healthy for you. You'll call that fat shaming, but that's probably somebody that's concerned about it. Now, how they say it, whether they say it in a mean spirit or not, look, you can't be on my team looking like you, the Kool-Aid man, running through buildings. Nah, you can't be on my team looking like that. That's her own preference. And who might say that she didn't say that? You run around, you got 4 models and you have a certain look for your model and one of your models start picking up on weight, you're going to go out there and deal with that model. Might be nice, might not be nice. You can't say she didn't say that, Kyle, because you were not there, man. You're trying to say these are not true as if you were a witness, as if you were there, dude. You were not there. These people were there and there were witnesses there. So the proof is more on them than you, dude. And what you're doing, you're getting up here trying to deflect and try to make it seem like this is just an attack on her to separate her from the left wing base when majority of them are already on her side, which is a bald-faced lie, dude. And you have no way of proving that. This guy has become one of the baddest actors ever. Talking about bad faith actor, he's just a bad actor, period.
So she fat shames people. These are arguments that are tailor-made to try to get.
I don't think the article said she fat shamed people. I think she said she gets on people because of their weight. Like I said, there's some people who need to talk to you about your weight because it may not be healthy for you. Then there's some people who probably say, hey, our team, on this team, you can't be over 250. You need to be less than once you go over 250, I'm gonna have to cut you until you get down. That's how it is in boxing or whatever. You can't be a lightweight. You can't fight a lightweight fight weighing 300 pounds. Get out of here, man. You're gonna have to drop some pounds. But Kyle is making up his own world here concerning her that he wants you to see into his world so you can look at his world concerning Marianne Williamson instead of looking at other people's world concerning Marianne Williamson. And you're going to get a look into Marianne Williamson in about a minute.
Like a left-wing base to abandon her when, of course, the left-wing base is like the only group in the country right now that's already sort of solid
making
supporters.
That mess up.
Turn your strength into your weakness. That's what they're trying to do here. It is crystal clear. Yet again, this is something that she categorically denies. The only thing in the article that she doesn't deny is when she hurt her hand. Because she was so mad, she hit a car door, she hurt her own hand. Now, notice something. This isn't about, oh my God, she...
That's not an anger issue? Why did she hit her hand on the car, Kyle? Maybe she's so mad at somebody that she wanted to hit him in the face. And look, I've done that before. I got so heated up because I don't like to fight and I don't hit people. And somebody pissed me off so bad, man, that I had to turn around and hit something else before I hit them. That was my way of not hitting them because I was this close from knocking that jaw clean over to the other side of the street. That close. And let me tell you something. When you see me cry, when we're in an argument, we getting ready to fight or something like that, once you see those eyes, that's not punkness, bro. You really need to go because I'm on the verge of snapping. And I'm going to regret what I'm going to do because I might black out. I might do some Norman Bates. I might black out and kill you, man. I don't want to put myself in no position like that. I don't black out, but I don't want to ever get to a position where I don't know what will happen once I get into a fit of rage. And you might be the same way too. So you try to avoid it. Why did she hit her hand on a car, Kyle?
Was physically violent with any of her staffers, physically violent with any other person. No, the strongest claim they make against her vis-a-vis other people is she yells.
Of course she's not going to be physically violent, Kyle. There's more than one way of being violent. Verbal violence is just as bad, just as dehumanizing, just as hurtful. Sometimes the scars last even longer.
And she's mean, and she's not the kindest to her own staffers, which again, she categorically denies. Now, by the way, there's all this anonymous. There's one person in the article that they actually give the identity. You ready for this? I hope you're sitting down. It's her former Iowa State director, who, by the way, used to work for Bernie's campaign.
Now, mind you, the other ones don't want to give their identity, and it was over 12, and why should they? So he's going to say because there was too much of a punk to identify themselves, then the story is not true. Really, Kyle? Really? So somebody want to remain anonymous? That's a coward. So if I go on TV and ask them to shade me out and deepen my voice, I'm a coward? Maybe I just don't want nothing to happen to me. Maybe I got people who think like you that's willing to die for Marianne Williams, dude. You act like you'll take a bullet for her. She ain't all that, man. Calm down.
Comes out and he verifies it. He's like, yeah, she's mean. She's terrible to her own people. It's inexcusable. I'd never allow something like that. The same dude in this article, they even admit it. Why was he let go from Bernie Sanders' campaign? Because he allegedly forcibly kissed somebody who worked underneath him.
What they got to do with anything, dude? Okay, all right, so somebody worked under him. If she was feeling him, or if she was, he kissed her and she didn't want it, then that is a problem. But what if she wanted it? I don't know the story about that, but what that got to do with this?
So the one person that you actually cite in the article is a dude who himself, according to your own admission, has a little bit of a sketchy history.
That's not a sketchy history. The man saw a girl that he was attracted to. He tried to kiss her. She didn't appreciate it. So there was a problem. It happens every day. That doesn't mean you're a sketchy, slimy, grimy dude. I had girls who flirted with me to the point, and then I got to the point, get ready to kiss her, and she act like she gonna kiss me and bite my tongue. Like, why you keep doing that? Not saying this was the situation, but it doesn't make a person a sketchy dude. And let's say that was a sketchy situation. Doesn't mean that this part is not true, Kyle. I'm not saying it's true or false, but it doesn't mean it's not true when you got multiple people saying that they're this way and they can actually repeat the pattern of pattern of anger and how she's triggered to be anger. If you got a lot of people who look at this pattern and can explain this pattern and it's basically the same, then you got basically some level of truth. You just want to deny it, Cal.
But you're supposed to take his word like, oh my God, this is,
It's not
this
just
is
his
golden.
word. It's a bunch of people's word.
So another thing they say is she allegedly floated monitoring staffers' phones, but she never did it.
How
Now,
do you know?
one of the passages that they have in here
How do you know, Cal?
is kind of amazing because it undermines the rest of their arguments. They say, quote, still, her behavior came as a shock to most of her 2020 campaign staff, the majority of whom had backgrounds working in politics and only knew of Williamson through her best-selling books and public speaking events, encouraging people to harness the power of love and learn to forgive. So let me decode that for you. We reached out to like 100 people to try to get them to shit on Marianne Williamson and tank Marianne Williamson's campaign. We were only...
That is not a decode, Kyle. That is a deflection. You're lying right now. You're bald-faced lying. Nobody said that. You're making that up to make it seem like this is what they did because some of your audience is so gullible to believe that because they believe you and your BS, man. Stop. Stop.
Books and public speaking events.
Now, books, public speaking. Look, I've read Marianne Williamson's book. I've seen her publicly speak. That's why I said I have no problem with her teaching on love. I teach on love. I have a whole different side of me that you don't know about where I go teach on love. But some of you know about it because I talked about it a long time. Winning with Love with Bobby. Go check it out. I kind of paused it a little bit because I'm helping my church get some online presence. I'm taking my time out to help them out because I love my church. I love my pastor. I love the message that they teach. I love the outreach that they give. And look, everybody nobody's perfect. My pastor's not perfect. You push him in the wrong way, you're liable to snap on you too. My pastor's wife, everybody's capable of being like that. Don't hide from this, Kyle. The thing is, how far would you go? Would you actually throw something at somebody? Would you actually punch somebody? Would you actually spit in the face of somebody? Would you actually take a glass and throw it at them? Will you actually take a knife at them and stab them? How far will you go in your anger? Everybody can get angry, Kyle. You can. She can. You're pissed off now. And this ain't got nothing to do with you. Yes, it do. It make you look like a horrible king maker in politics. That's what's pissing you off. You can still see an evil side of a person, but appreciate the work they've done in the past. Now, once they start attacking you personally, you might draw away from that person, but you still appreciate the work that they have done, how their books have changed your lives and how their teaching have changed your life. But oftentimes you got to separate yourself, the man from the messenger, the man from the messenger. You have to do that sometime because at the end of the day, that messenger is not holier than thou. He's just a messenger sending a message, but that is still a man. He's still capable of snapping, cussing you out, dogging you out, punching you in the jaw. It depends on how they deal with their dark side.
Encouraging people to harness the power of love and learn to forgive. So let me decode that for you.
Decode.
We reached out to like 100 people to try to get them to shit on Marianne Williamson and tank Marianne Williamson's campaign. We were only able to find a few people who would do it. And we're going to slyly acknowledge that by saying, hey, most of the people actually liked her.
We only reached out to 100 people, but because she's so kind, so tender, and so untouchable, only a few people out of 100 actually said, yeah, I'm going to do it. Really, Cal? No, how about we reached out to her staff to see what kind of person she is. And we got 12 of them to actually talk about her good points and her bad points. She's good over here, but she is horrible over here. That's just the way it is with human beings. Cal trying to deflect.
And they were really shocked to hear these allegations. So we're going to put a passage about that as the rest of the article is just totally, absolutely dragging her reputation through the mud and smearing her relentlessly. So now you want to hear another example. Here's how you know they're full of shit and they have an agenda and they went into this to try to take her down. They describe.
No, Cal, you're full of. You have agenda because you're trying to do whatever you can to elevate her without people seeing who she really is. One thing people like about Trump, bigot and hateful spin he can be, they know Trump is New York all day. He's that dirty, grimy, slimy, yet smart, intellectual, pushy, mob bossy. He's that kind of New Yorker. And they knew that this is, look, if this guy going to run for office, and the same thing with Cuomo. Cuomo is just as slimy as they come. People looked at Cuomo as if he was a hero, but I kept telling people, the moment Cuomo touched me on my belly, me personally, I knew that guy was a slime ball. But some people can appreciate you being who you are up front. I can appreciate that. Don't act like you're something you're not. That's why I'm trying to say Marianne Williamson, this is not her. She's a spiritual advisor. Keep doing that. Stay out of this. You need to keep doing that, Cal. This ain't her lane.
Describe her anger. This is a direct quote from the article. They describe her anger as, quote, it would be foaming, spitting, uncontrollable rage. Foaming?
You see how he's trying to be so hard, so acting, so in his description, foaming, spitting, raging. Nah, man. Sometimes she be so foaming at the mouth, and that is a description of how angry a person. That don't mean they were actually foaming and spitting out their mouth like, yo, this dude was so pissed off, man. He was about to snap. Man, this dude was so pissed off, man. His head was about to explode. It doesn't mean one level of passivity more. His head was going to actually explode, man. Cal just taking this thing too far, man. Bad actor.
Her anger was foaming. She would be foaming at the mouth. So like a cartoon wolf or something. You have to make it sound more realistic if you're going to go for these gutter smear campaigns. You can't go that over the top because then everybody knows you're full of shit.
Everybody don't knows because everybody don't know Marianne, and everybody don't have your mindset, Cal. Just because you blowing it off don't mean everybody else gonna blow it off. I've seen people more timid and nicer and kinder than Marianne Williamson. I'm not saying she's nice and kind. I don't know her like that. I've seen some very, very nice, kind people that really, really got to the point where they snapped. I ain't never seen that come out of them before. None of that. You got people who go around and kill people and killing people forever. And the next thing you know, they be talking about, oh, I didn't know that. He's such a nice man. I never knew that. Her? She seems like a saint. I didn't know that she killed three men. I didn't know she was a Black Widow. You don't know these people, Kyle. You don't know her, and stop pretending you do.
Okay, now let's take a minute and talk about Politico. Politico is the hack of all hack outlets. It is the epitome of the swamp.
So to counterattack, he has to bring shame, and he literally have to paint this organization as an attack dog. He have to paint this organization as the worst people to listen to. Now, mind you, most news agencies are. You got to gauge what you hear and what you believe. I listen to a lot of political articles. I gauge on the right and the left. I gauge. I'm not one-sided. I'm not taking one side of the story. I listen to both, and then I try to figure the middle in between. I gauge it. Some on the right be telling some truth. Some on the left be telling the truth. But sometimes both of them are lying. But some of you believe that only the right lie, the left don't lie. And Kyle is lying in your freaking face. In his description and everything, he's lying. He's making this stuff. Basically, all the lefties are on our side. Man, get out of here with that mess. So here he is. Since they dumped on her, he's going to dump on them.
So the guy who bought it recently and owns it, Matthias Dopfner, he's the new Politico owner. Now, he said when he bought it, who, me, bro? I'm like nonpartisan. I'm like apolitical. I'm sort of a centrist. I'm above the fray. And then Washington Post uncovered his emails where he said, and I quote, pray for Trump to become president again in 2020. Quote, no American administration in 50 years has done more than Trump.
Now, that's a bald-faced lie. But what's wrong with him praying for Trump? He liked Trump? Go for it. Does that make him a liar? If he would have said, look, pray for Biden. Let's pray that Biden win again. Oh, that will make him more truthful, Kyle. Let's say if he said, well, I support Marianne Williamson, pray for Marianne Williamson. And then this article came out anyway from a reporter on his staff. Would that make him uncredible? Would that make him a person that's out to get somebody? Hey, I can't make this stuff up, man.
This is the outlet that wants you to think they're credible. This is the outlet. By the way, another story that I've covered in the past about Politico from about a year or so ago. Apparently, they demand loyalty to, quote, capitalism and Israel from all employees. This is on the record. This was reported. Politico demands loyalty to capitalism and Israel.
Lie. Lie, Kyle. Stop your lying. Matter of fact, if that's true, do a report. Show us documents. You just talking all out the mouth with no receipts. Show us freaking documents, man. Stop making stuff up. Stop pulling out lies out of your behind. Bring the receipts. You have to bow down. Now, they probably, which is wrong, they probably don't want no communist people working for them, which is wrong. You can't do somebody based on their belief. You got people in the Democratic Party that support that don't want to divest and all that stuff against Israel. They support that. A lot of Democrats support that with the Republicans. My point is, Kyle is saying a lot of these things and don't back it up, man.
But they're serious, and they're just giving people facts and information. And there wasn't an agenda with this rank attempt to smear Marianne Williamson.
Rank attempt.
Guys,
in other words, he's saying
this as simple as possible for everybody.
Rank attempt. He's saying this came from the top, and everybody had to follow the message from the top to get rid of Marianne Williamson. How about Marianne Williamson probably is like that, and you haven't seen it yet because you always seen the kind, side. And Marianne Williamson know you got millions of followers, so and millions of subscribers, so she ain't gonna show you that side because it's gonna cost her. But don't worry, we'll find her slipping sooner or later.
My experience with Justice Democrats actually lends me a lot of credibility to talk about an issue like we're witnessing right now.
No, it don't.
Okay? When I was
No,
with
it
Justice
don't.
Democrats,
No, it
they
don't. No, it don't, Kyle. It don't. You working with politicians, you trying to get people to run for office, don't make you a professional at being a BSer. You're a BSer, man. You're full of it. Don't use that as an excuse. Half the people that you got running for office, guess what they are? They BSers. And they always full of excuses. Oh, we can't touch the vote right now. We for age. What? Man, give me free health care. I have more money in my pocket. What you talking about? Oh, I can't do this. I can't do that. Well, we got things strategically. We got things. The people you got in office right now is full of crap. AOC, Jamal Bowman, you name them, they're all full of crap. And I know them. Because I live in the Bronx, dude. Well, y'all don't never talk about the good things I do. No, because your bad thing outweigh the good things. So you did something over here for some school over here. But yeah, you just signed off bills supporting the Iron Dome that basically allow Israel to continue to slaughter Palestinians, including little kids. So you may have did something over here to protect little Bronx kids, which you ain't doing much to protect little Bronx kids, but you over there allowing the Israeli government to continue to pounce down on Palestinians. And don't let me get on the things that you're allowing to happen to the black community right here in New York City. But I digress.
they used the same playbook against us when we had just gotten off the ground. So myself and Jank were, we were co-founders of it. We're at the top of it with a couple other people. And you had some right-wing outlet dig up Jank's old blogs from back when he was a conservative in the 1990s. And in those blogs, he said things that were cringy. And one of the things he did, and this is ironic, he was taking a shot at himself by writing this line, but he said something along the lines of, the genes of women are obviously flawed because they don't want to breed with me as much as they should. It was like a self-deprecating, like, well, obviously women are flawed because they don't want me, right? And people, they took that.
I see why they want you.
Put the quote on paper, ran the articles along with other cringe quotes from Jank, and it was like a nuclear bomb went off. And there was a mutiny from the Justice Democrat staff.
Guys,
where they said, look, either
this has nothing to do with Marianne Williamson, so I'm going to try to move it forward.
Problems. But they don't do that because they like the establishment politicians. They agree. He called somebody at a town hall of his like, all right, fat, you want to fight me? He called him like fat or fats, and then he wanted to fight him. You could easily take that moment, put it in quotes, and then spin it as like, oh, this man is so.
And we all saw that, and we all reported on that, including me. Look here, fat. I reported on that. I reported on how horrible Joe Biden is. See, the problem is Kyle think that you got to pick the lesser two evils, and she is nowhere near Joe Biden. Joe Biden is horrible, and here, no, I don't want the lesser of two nothings. I want great. I want greatness. We have to change our mindset politically on who we push for office. Greatness. Less baggage, more greatness. Less baggage, more greatness. Now, obviously, Kyle probably see greatness in Marianne Williamson because he don't want Joe Biden. And I don't want Joe Biden, but that don't make me say automatically gravitate toward Marianne Williamson. He act like she can't do no wrong. And I'm telling you, she and everybody else can do no wrong. Don't try to lowball this article.
So impolite and rude, and he's got anger problems. But they don't do that because they like the establishment politicians. They agree.
We do that, and they do that. Politico have reported on that. A lot of people reported on that. They don't just report on good things about Joe Biden. They report negative things on Joe Biden. But at the end of the day, they're going to support Joe Biden because he's come from that, the establishment side. He established, long-term establishment. Marianne Williamson is new, fresh baby establishment. Robert, you can't call her her establishment. She's supported establishment all her life. She's besties with Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton. She's besties with people like Oprah Winfrey. She is the client to the stars. She mentors them. She advised them. And even corporations and even leaders worldwide, she has been part of the establishment for a while. She is cosplaying as a populist. Kyle is trying to sell you as a populist when she's really establishment. The moment she decided to run in the Democratic Party, she had to bend the knee to establishment rules, which makes her part of the establishment. The moment you start to run in that party, you submitted to becoming an establishment. There's no renegade in the Democratic Party. You will never be a renegade in the Democratic Party. You'll never be a renegade in the Republican Party. There is no such thing as being an outsider in an insider party, both right and left. You have submitted to it. So miss me with your BS populist, fake populist message, Kyle. She ain't no populist. She's Democratic as she come. That's why she always talking about, I need to restore the Democratic Party back to FDR status. That was establishment. Yeah, he had a lot of money. FDR had a lot of money. It's not about the money. It's about what he did in power. Black people tried to get some help from him. He's like, yo, y'all just going to have to deal with the nuisance. Y'all going to have to deal with the, continue to get burned at the stake. You'll have to continue to get your bodies dragged from feet to neck and body being pulled apart and being ditched. You're going to have to continue to dig ditches only for them to shoot you in the head and bury you on top of that. You're going to have to continue to do that because I got to get this New Deal done. Now, I can go a list of things that black people was crying out for Roosevelt, FDR to deal with. And he was like, not right now. Not right now. Go sit down, Blackie. Not right now.
With the establishment politicians. It's Marianne Williamson, who's an outsider.
She is not.
Who they're trying to paint as crazy and somebody you should never support. Well, guess what? Even if
nobody says she's crazy, she got a temper. She got a temper. She can lose it.
Every single thing in this article was true, which it's not.
How do you know, Kyle? How do you know? How do you know?
The only one in the race who wants Medicare for all and free college and a living wage and ending the wars. And we can go on and on. Getting money out of politics, so ending the corruption. She's the only one that wants to address the real issues. So even if your little shitty smear piece was...
She have to say that she's the only one to address these people issues in order to get the people's support. A lot of things Trump talked about, he basically took Bernie Sanders' message and put it in his campaign. A lot of people bought into that, including Bernie Sanders supporters, non-Democrat. Because everybody think, oh, in order to be a Bernie Sanders supporter, you had to be a Democrat. No. He took that message and got a lot of Bernie supporters on his side. A lot of them. Some of them you hate to this day. And they still Trump. They still Trumpers right now because they believe Trump is the closest thing to Bernie Sanders than Joe Biden. I don't see how they see that at all. Well, maybe because he don't mind, he'll if you do something wrong to him, he gonna come back and get you. He ain't gonna sit there and let you do it. He's not gonna take it up to just to get some kind of political position. Trump could care less about a political position.
Accurate, which it's not, I would still sit here and say, don't care.
See, he said, let's say it is true. Let's say it is true. She's a maniac that throw phones at people, cuss them out, fat shame them, and snaps on them and talk about the way they dress. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. Well, listen here, people, and I don't know about you. I care. I care about your demeanor while sitting in that position of power. I care. If you snap off on the smallest things, you're going to snap off on the biggest things. And Trump always been a person that snaps off on the smallest thing. That's why I didn't never want him to be in that position anyway, because he'll snap off on the biggest thing. And Joe Biden is just clueless. He's in grandma mode, not grandpa mode. He's in grandma mode. Grandma draws and on top of his head and everything. That's just the mode he in. I don't trust none of these people. I don't want to vote for none of these people. I'm not going to vote for none of these people. I'm not going to make no calls for these people. I'm not going to give them no Act Blue money. They can all go somewhere. Now, y'all get a chance, you go watch this, because Kyle tried his best to stake his case. He's trying to say, even if she is, so what? Well, recently, Marianne Williamson making her way down to South Carolina ahead of the game to try to garner support. So she meets with a community of people, and Friedman himself, FBA Gullah Geechee, South Carolina himself, the man who ran for office to dethrone James Clyburn, to the point that so much heat, he was traveling James Clyburn everywhere he go to ask him some questions, not to badger him. They asked him questions, and if he would have got it wrong, he would have corrected him right then and there. And James Bond, these people don't like to be corrected. You correct them, they lose their mind. They act like they know it all. They know it all. I know more than you. I don't care if you are a school teacher. I was a school teacher. Now I'm a political nutcase. The nerves of you to tell me how it is. I know more than you. He did that to James Clyburn. And he was so scared, James Clyburn, he didn't want to face that heat, and I think he's not running this year because of Marcel Dixon. It wasn't because of anybody else that was in the middle that kind of got in between them two winning. But it was because of Marcel Dixon riding his behind that James Clyburn might not be running again because he don't have to deal with that again. And Marcel Dixon is true to the core. He went to see Marianne Williamson, and this is what happened. Now, this is Marcel for Congress. This is his Twitter page. You should go and check him out. He's the real deal. Marcel Dixon is a black man from South Carolina. He is part of the LGBTQ plus community, but he's not your normal. He's not your normal Democrat. He's kind of like me in the sense that you can't put me in a box. That I'm kind of tough on immigrations. I don't think anybody need to be coming all willy-nilly for any kind of reason. And I don't think we need to be carte blanching and giving them everything they need when we got people here that's struggling themselves, especially in New York. Well, James, he confronted Marianne Williamson. And let's go to the first video and listen to this one. Let's see.
Office, and I'm running yet again against the king. Hi, yes, so I concur with a lot of things that you said. One, I ran for office, and I'm running yet again against the king maker, James Clyburn. But my attitude, if you're the king maker, then your district should be living like royalty, and they're not. So I know exactly how they try to shame you, exclude you, and slander your name. And my thing is this, we as Americans need to grow a backbone, okay? When did we start worrying? Well, see, I'm a black American Gullah Geechee. We've always had to stand up and fight for everything. And I know you was talking about how things used to be. Well, I was born, my great-great-grandparents are still alive. My great-grandparents were all still alive except one. And they told me the good old days for y'all weren't good old days for them. So they're used to having to fight and be slandered and be excluded and be denigrated. I want to thank you for being, and I'm going to say this because they like to say man enough. I'm going to thank you, a woman, for being man enough to do not what's popular, not what's.
All right, now, first of all, he's very respectful, very cordial. Matter of fact, it says, I went to see Marianne Williamson today. Incredible team. However, I'm good on her. While I was stating facts on how the group has gotten and continue to get reparations, talking about her other groups, including Jewish, when I got to the Holocaust survivors, she pulled the BS anti-Semitic lie. It don't work on me. It don't work on me. So anytime you start talking about the Jewish community and somebody don't agree with you, it's automatically anti-Semitic. You guys, you got to stop that stuff. If you say something about black people, I can call you anti-black if I don't agree with it. I can do that. But my thing is, how do you see black people? Do you see it in a negative light or not? That determines to me anti-blackness. Marcel Dixon is not saying anything anti-Semitic at all about these numbers.
Easy,
yes.
But what's right.
Yes.
And you're running on a reparations platform. And that's the right thing to do. Now, I do want to give you some.
Why did she walk away?
Open to it about your reparations plan, because I face all kinds of backlash, which I gladly accept. I'm here for it. My ancestors who were fighting in these rice marshes and swamps didn't back down to any backlash. I will be an insult to my great-grandmother who died at 101 if I back down because of people saying mean things to me. One, reparations comes from the federal government. It does not come from your tax dollars. America pays reparations every single day. They're paying it to Ukrainians right now. They're paying it when they take care of people in the country illegally and going up to the trillions. They paid it to the Japanese Americans who were interned. Even though my great-grandfather helped to save the Jews from the Nazis, he came back to America and he was locked out of the GI Bill, which gave trillions of dollars to mainly white veterans that they say built the middle class. And yet those same Jews right now are getting reparations. People in Walmart.
Wait, I have to stop you. I am a Jew. What Jews right now are getting?
Now wait. He said Jewish people are getting reparations. Well, let me tell you something. Let me bring myself back up here. I don't know why that's playing. Jesus. The state of Israel constantly, every month, get billions from the U.S. government. Why? I'm just going to talk about the state of Israel, which is mostly a Jewish state. And this is not anti-Semitic. Why are they getting billions of dollars of our taxpayers' money? Why? When they have no-cost education, they have a universal health care system, they're heavily supplied with arms, they got an Iron Dome, and their government right now is attacking Palestinians. Yet they get money from us. Reparation just means repairing. Whether they did damage or not, we're still sending them consistently money every month. We're sending Ukraine money. We're spending money. Right now, we got black mayor in New York trying to ask the public, including black people who are struggling, to take more money out of their paycheck to pay for people who come in here and putting them up in 5-star abandoned hotels since COVID. I give you that. Put them up in 5-star hotels, giving them great meals when you got the homeless population, a lot of them black, who can't eat, who's there because they got priced out of their apartment. So they have to live on the streets. And they're not giving them carte blanche to these areas to rehabilitate and to bounce back and maybe take some courses, maybe become truck drivers, stuff like that. No, they're allowing the immigrants, the migrant workers, to get carte blanche into that. The migrant workers are getting carte blanche to work with these contractual companies that are built in New York City. Most of them don't even have papers, but they get to work under a temporary visa, and they're giving those jobs to these guys, paying them less, and not the people who want been here for a long time would love to learn those skills and have those skills and don't mind getting paid less, getting paid something, and then they can go somewhere else and make some big money. So for her to get upset, now I'm going to go back to it, to get upset at Marcel Dixon because he mentioned Jewish people. When somebody mentioned how Jewish people are getting what they call a handout, some people call, when it's really not a handout, it's us giving them money. People get upset. I'm sitting up here, I'm watching Ari Emanuel dog Kanye West and saying people not to do no business with him, and called him anti-Semitic, told Adidas not to do any business with him. Adidas lost so much sales that they had to ask Kanye West to come back, but they didn't put that in the news to sell the rest of those Yeezys because they couldn't do it. And here this man just brought the WWE into his forward endeavor. Making the point of right now that, look, there's not that many black people running wrestling companies. They don't even have leadership position in a lot of these wrestling companies. But let me get back to this. The point is, he mentioned how Jewish people getting reparations. She goes off. So we're going to go to the next video, and we're going to watch this again. I'm almost done, guys. All right, so in this video, he said everything I said was factual, including the fact that her reparation plans amount is insultingly low. It needs to be lineage-based, and the payment should go directly to us. She tried that anti-Semitic lie to try and deflect, and I do not back down. In other words, Marianne Williamson plan is not is kind of all exclusive. It has an African-American term. African-American do not mean black. African-American could mean somebody who has African descent, who's a descendant from Africa by birth or whatever, that came to America. That's African-American. No ties to slavery, but you want to give them opportunity. You talking about Elon Musk, he's an African-American. Charlene Theron, she's an African-American. There's a lot of white Africans that lives in America right now that say they're more African-American than we are. And we, as foundational black Americans, say that's why we rejected the name African-American. We're foundational black American. We're freedmen. We're native black Americans. FBA, MBA, and freedmen. Or you can say American descendants of slaves. I don't like to say that much because all you're saying is I'm a descendant of slave that's living in America. That still can be tied up into the same thing as African American. But saying foundational black American, that I was a black American and I helped found this country, my lineage and lineage base is a different story. Now, let's go back to Marcel and let him talk some more.
I have to stop you. I am a Jew. What Jews right now are getting reparations?
The Jews who are
Everything you
Holocaust
said until
survivors.
now is true. What?
The Jews who are Holocaust survivors.
But they're not getting reparations from the American government.
No,
They
they're
never
not. What
did.
the American government did in 2014 agreed to facilitate a $12 million payback to Holocaust survivors.
That had nothing to do with the U.S. government giving
No,
money to
the
the
U.S.
Jews.
government did facilitate that payback.
They facilitated that payback. That was through the Obama administration. Biden helped spearhead that, but we facilitated that, and that's just one. That's just one. And you know what facilitate is, and Marcel Dixon know what facilitate is. He's a school teacher, just but here he's going to say he's going to deny knowing what it is just to prove a point to her.
With an administrative Germany.
Okay.
Germany paid reparations
Well,
to
so
the
my
Jewish
point is, though,
organization.
but my point.
Germany paid reparations to the Jews. Guess who funded Germany? United States and multiple other countries, a bunch of other countries came in, took U.S. tax dollars, sent it to Germany. Germany actually, it's like working for a contracted company. Yes, that check may come from the place where you work at, but it could be the agency who you're working through that sent that money to them, or vice versa. The place where you work at is paying the agency who you work for, and that agency is paying the check. But when in actuality, the agency is really the middleman. Germany was a middleman in this process, taking all the blame and the claim for paying Holocaust survivors, but they didn't pay out of their own pocket.
The States did not pay
But the
reparations.
United States government facilitated, and the point still exists. Me, a descendant of American slaves, haven't seen a penny yet. At the end of slavery, and I know you probably know these numbers, $42 to $84 trillion was the value of those of us who were enslaved. And I like the fact that you're running on reparations, but you have $1 trillion as the amount, and that is insultingly low. And I understand that you may have to make it palatable to the American public, but if we want
And that is insultingly low. Tone speaks. Antonio Moore of ADOS, American Descendant of Slave, not the same as Descendant of American Slavery. Descendant of American Slavery is more lineage-based. But Tone checked her on that, and she got a little upset. You can go back and watch that video, Marion Williamson on Tone Talk. Sandy Darity checked on that. You know, she didn't like being corrected on that because, as she say, I have my view, you have your view. You know, we just leave it at that. No, it's not like that when you're dealing with us, sister. It's what we say, not what you say. You don't put a price tag on us. But let Marcel keep going.
to do what's right, we got to do what's right. And the amount that we are owed is at $70 trillion minimum. If you just do $1 trillion, they said in the 20th century, Black Americans lost $400 billion in just land theft alone. That doesn't go to Jim Crow. That doesn't go to being left from the Homestead Act that gave white Americans $10 trillion and 300 acres. So I love the fact that we're running a reparations plan, but your plan is going to have to get those numbers right. It's got to be lineage based, and the money needs to go directly to us. Because when the Japanese Americans got their money, it didn't go to a council, it went straight to them. Those Holocaust survivors, that money goes straight to them.
That's right.
We deserve to have even more so.
Yeah, so let me say.
All right, so he's right on the money. He's right on it. You don't need a study. You don't need none of that. You're off on your numbers. You can't put a value on it. I mean, no, we're going to tell you what it is. It's at least. And you got economists like Sandy Darity, economists like the great and the one who I lean on more than anybody, Claude Anderson. Go look him up. Claude Anderson says it's way above what they're saying. And 70 is just the start. 70 trillion just the start. And he talked about it went straight to them, and it's lineage based. It didn't go to, if you were not Japanese, you wouldn't get none of that money. So it went straight to them. And the same thing need to happen for us. And here, Marion Williamson again.
A couple things. First of all, I honor how you stand up for your ancestors, and I stand up for mine. The United States has not paid $1 of reparations to Jews for the Holocaust. That is number one. And by the way, as far as some of the things you said about Rosa.
Now, let me go back, and I'll repeat it again. The United States has paid money to the Jewish Holocaust. They can't look like they gave it to the Jewish survivors of Jewish Holocaust, but they got, they can't say that because it makes them look bad, knowing that they had their own Holocaust in the United States when it came to black people, were millions of black people, more than the Holocaust. Now, look, I'm not disclaiming the Holocaust. The Holocaust was a horrible thing. It happened. There's no lie about that. It happened. It was horrible. It was an atrocity. But it was nothing compared to the 300 plus years of continuous slaughter of black people for some of the smallest reasons. You can't pick cotton no more. I'm going to have to put you down like a horse or a dog. You're wasting space here. Somebody didn't perform to their numbers on the cotton field, you will beat them and end up killing them. It's not going to strengthen them to go back out there and do more. You beat them just to send a message to the rest of the people. You need to get these numbers up. And I'm just starting just from plantation owning. Now you see how she's about to get irritated, and that's the whole point of this video, is she's about to get irritated with this Jewish, the United States ain't paying nothing. In defense of the United States, not in defense of his people, in defense of the United States. The United States didn't pay not one penny to Jewish Holocaust. Yes, they have. They did it indirectly, Marion. They passed it through a middleman called Germany. And it wasn't just the United States. It was the UK and a whole bunch of other countries that contribute to this.
Which was true about his treatment of black people. He didn't do well by the Jews during the 2 years when Hitler said they could still leave. So I will not stand here while anti-Semitic tropes are repeated.
Anti-Semitic tropes. She talked about the few years Hitler lost his freaking mind on Jews compared to the hundreds of years the United States lost his mind on black people. And she gonna call that anti-Semitic when in actuality, Marcel could have called her anti-black.
Anti-Semitic, that's the truth. That's the truth. That's the truth.
You're gonna call that man anti-Semitic because he's speaking facts. Let's go to the next video. See, when she's challenged, she starts to lose her freaking mind. She's gonna always think she knows more than you. Why? Because Marianne Williamson is a narcissist. She's an egotistical narcissist. She don't like to be one up. She don't like to be upstage. And when you challenge her, or if you say something negative against her, it rubs her the wrong way. It gets under her skin, and she can't cover that up. You can see it in her facial expression. You can see it in her body language. She'll start coughing. She'll start clearing her throat. She'll do anything because she's trying not to. She's trying to keep it all in. Man, CJ from RBN, he recognized that too. She started rocking back and forth like a crackhead, scratching herself. You know, trying to not lose it. But let's let this tape keep going.
That's not anti-Semitic. That's the truth. That's the truth. That's the truth. That's the truth.
Marianne Williamson gonna call this man, this black man, anti-Semitic because he said money went to the Jews, and the United States facilitated that, which means the United States were primarily the managers of that money getting to Germany to pay Jewish survivors.
That is not anti-Semitic. That's the truth. And I will continue to do so, and standing up for my ancestors means speaking the truth. Holocaust survivors did get 14 trillion facilitated. That is a fact. That is a fact. I don't know what it meant. All I know that my
Now, let me stop this. Marcel know doggone well what facilitate is. But that's not the point. He don't need to go into detail of what it is. She know what it is. He know what it is. Facilitate pretty much mean to manage the funds and to handle the operations. The United States did that along with a whole bunch of other countries, and that money went directly, just like Joe Biden did with Ukraine when he was the president, when he was the vice president. He facilitated billions of dollars to go to Ukraine. Matter of fact, he held billions of dollars, and he should be called to the carpet for it and tried for it for blackmailing a country with not campaign finances, with funds from the taxpayers going to Ukraine, which the taxpayers didn't approve of it. Him and Obama did that, and he held it over the head of Ukraine to try to get a prosecutor fired who may have been investigating in his son's dealings with that particular Ukrainian gas company, oil company known as Barishna. He managed that. That's all facilitate mean. To manage and to execute.
Look, have not gotten a penny. My my ancestors have not gotten a penny.
Look at this. She storms at him. She storms at him. Let me go back to this. He's challenging her. She don't like to be challenged. He said, look, money did go to the United States did pay. It wasn't directly, but they did pay. Them and a bunch of other countries did pay into those funds to pay Israel. I mean, to pay Germany, to pay Holocaust survivors. And she's still trying to say no. He agreed. Maybe not indirectly, but we did. It was through a facilitation when the money came. Germany didn't just pay that. And here she is. She's going to get so irritated that she's going to start launching forth at this dude.
That's the truth. Holocaust survivors are getting reparations. That is not anti-Semitic. That's the truth. And I will continue to do so. And standing up for my ancestors means speaking the truth. Holocaust survivors did get 14 trillion facilitated. That is a fact. That is a fact. I don't know what it meant. All I know that my ancestors have not gotten a penny. My ancestors.
You don't know because it's not true.
A penny. That's all I know, and it's an insult for the American government to facilitate a facilitation of payment to Holocaust survivors while my great-grandfather is still alive and he fought to save the Jews from the Nazis.
Facts.
Excuse me. It is because I'm Jewish that I feel so.
A penny. That's all I know. That is a fact.
The argument. Now, again, watch her. Now, watch her. Watch her. Let me go back to it.
And I will continue to do so. And standing up for my ancestors means speaking the truth. Holocaust
Called him a liar.
Did get 14 trillion facilitated. That is a fact. That is a fact. I don't know what it meant. All I know
Look at her.
is that my ancestors have not gotten a penny.
She had to back up.
That's
And look,
all I know. And it's an insult for the American government to facilitate.
she was gonna launch at that dude and get him Marcel face about it, launching at him. I got a feeling one of her handlers say, "Hey, don't sweat that." She was looking at somebody and then she stopped. Somebody was probably telling her, "Look, you need to don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. You on camera. Don't do that." They already talking about your temper, and you're about to lose it right now.
A facilitation of payment to Holocaust survivors while my great-grandfather is still alive and he fought to save the Jews from the Nazis.
Excuse me. It is because I'm Jewish that I feel so strongly about reparations.
And I feel strongly about reparations for my people too.
Germany gave $89 billion in reparations to Jewish organizations long before 2014. The fact that I am from a people who was wronged and to whom Germany paid reparations, the fact.
Again, I'm not a fan of Richard Wolff, because his views on reparations is just as bad, just as horrible, and downright white supremacist about it. But he did mention about the money going. No, even before 2014, the United States assisted financially in paying money to Jews. You know, we supported the survivors financially. We provided them safe havens, a place to come. A lot of them came to the United States. That's a form of reparation. You got to come up. You got to come to the United States and participate in the American dream. And a lot of German people who came to this country, a lot of Jewish people who came to this country, as well as spread around the world, but a lot of them came to this country and caked up. So that's still the United States providing reparations, because opportunity is a great reparations. It's a great type of reparation to repair what's been stolen from you, to repair the homes that you lost and the land that you had. You can come stay in the United States and participate in the American dream. So what is she saying?
The fact that I am aware as a Jew that even though reparations reparations paid by Germany to the Jewish organizations that were not directed to Jews.
Now, nobody said that. Now she got to be the teacher and explain, as if she know more than Marcel Dixon. Marcel Dixon is a hell of a teacher, a wonderful educator, got multiple awards for educating. Now, it got so bad that this guy had to come and get between Marion Williamson and Marcel. Marcel wasn't going to get up. Marcel was fine where he was on his phone. He just ain't going to let you sit there and talk that bull crap. Now, she's going to try to educate, because the education that Marcel has given them has enlightened these people. Now she got to uneducate these people to get them back on her train versus Marcel's train.
Jewish organizations has gone far to establish not only financial restitution, but
He's
also
recording.
emotional and
Right here.
psychological healing between Germany and the Jews of Europe.
Right here.
That is what, right here.
Obama administration has awarded $12 million for assistance to Holocaust survivors. This happened in October 2015. I don't lie, and I know my information.
You know what, Marquez, this is not right. This is not right. Actually, I'm more than glad to.
You cut me off. I was talking, and you cut me off saying it was anti-Semitic. That's not what it was. I was telling the truth. I was telling the truth. You cut me off and accused me of being anti-Semitic. I'm speaking for my answers. I'm telling the truth, and I don't care who doesn't want to hear it.
Now, of course, her black handler and bootlicker is going to try to protect her versus saying Marcel is right. Brother, you got to, I know you don't want to lose your job, man, but don't be standing up on the side of, of somebody smearing this brother, calling him anti-Semitic, and just because he said some truth about money going to Holocaust survivors. How that is anti-Semitic?
The facts disagree with you.
Listen to him.
The facts disagree with you.
See? The facts disagree with you. And here come this dude. Now, he said, do not accuse me of being a liar or saying something anti-Semitic when I spoke the truth. The U.S. has facilitated reparations to Holocaust survivors or their descendants. One could even discuss the billions America sends to Israel each year. Now, I just discussed that. I sent this article to her director.
I think reparations for slavery are important, actually. This gentleman is speaking to the issue of the money, so very quickly I will say this, because I think it is important. My reparations plan is in my proposal, is for $1 trillion. This gentleman is absolutely correct, actually. There were between 4 and 5 million enslaved people at the end of World War II, at the end of the Civil War. Tecumseh Sherman did promise every formerly enslaved family of 40 acres and a mule. And that was a very serious thing. If you were to look at financial remuneration in terms of the value in today's terms, there would be trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars. I think that this is really for Black Americans to decide. It's not for me to decide.
Boy, that place is packed. It's a revolution.
Suggesting a plan that I believe in our generation could be politically feasible. If you feel, no, it's simply not enough money, we want 14 or 15 trillion, then I suppose you can, if you wish, wait for a president candidate who might say 14.
Now, see, this is why you would never see me vote for this. According to her, she's saying, look, this is my number. If you want a higher number, then vote for somebody else. How about we'll rather vote no to you and your freaking number over a person who don't have a number? You're not going to sit here and lowball. You're not going to do that, Marion Williamson. Or either take my plan or vote for somebody else. Oops, you have nobody else to vote for but Joe Biden. He has no plan. How about we don't vote for neither one of you? How about you go get your voting power from somebody else with your millions of people in this particular arena right now? You have no political powerful voice. You probably got 13 people in that room. And you got the nerves to talk like this, and you expect to get a groundswell of black people to support you over $1 trillion freaking dollars? We've given more money than that to Israel. And you gonna lowball us? You talking about anti-Semitic. That's anti-black, girl. you're anti-black. Just hearing this right now pisses me off. You're going to lowball black America. You came up with this plan because you got with some probably non-black person who did a study and came up with these whack numbers when you should have been getting with Claude Anderson and he would have told you the real deal. Because it's not just based on that 40 acres and a mule. It's based on the money that was made on the backs of slaveries. And it's based on the American dream being built on the American nightmare. And how most people that's I would just say, mostly white people, no matter what country they come from, they benefit more because of the opportunity that was given to them, even when they came to this country. Blacks didn't get none of that. And listen to her again. Man, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to do something with this. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to find some way to spell to every black person, say hell no to Marianne Williams.
For president candidate who might say 14 or then I suppose you can, if you wish.
Who might say 14. We're talking 70 trillion. This lady's something else.
Politically feasible. If you feel, no, it's simply not enough money, we want 14 or 15 trillion, then I suppose you can, if you wish, wait for a president candidate who might say 14 or 15 trillion. Not for me to decide. In terms of the reparations council, instead of direct money given to descendants of enslaved people, the issue is, I believe, if I owe you money, I don't get to tell you how to spend it. So I don't think it's for white people to tell black people.
All right. So Cal, with his so-called representation of Marianne Williamson, I got a video of Cal talking about how Marianne Williamson was mystical and kooky and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, he gonna get mad because the White House called her mystical, kooky, and stuff like that. He gonna go on a fuming tirade over that. We're gonna talk about that later. The point of this video is people are saying that you push Marianne Williamson the wrong way. Well, I wouldn't say the wrong way. You push her. She can snap on you. Whether it's the right way or the wrong way, she can snap on you. She has a temper. She's all on TV and on camera when it's big lights, action, or at a seminar or one of her meetings or a Course of Miracles, she's all lovey-dovey. But if you're part of her team, you're going to see that she has a lot of imperfections. And it's okay, Kyle. Your girl ain't perfect. Your girl got a temper. Your girl can snap off on people. And we just saw it when Marcel Dixon challenged her, number one on her numbers. He was cordial, told her congratulations. I appreciate you. I thank God for you for running on reparation, but we need to talk because you need to get those numbers up because it's insulting. He gave all this money to all these people, no problem. She gets mad because he mentioned money going to Jewish people and how the United States facilitated it, let alone give money to them directly. Indirectly. She's going to get upset. And then she's going to really, really hit it on the nail by saying, if you don't like my $7 trillion plan, you can find you another president. That is basically what she said. How about we wasn't looking at you as a president anyway, and a whole bunch of people ain't looking at you, and every black person need to discount you and throw you away. I don't care if Joe Biden is horrible, and he is, like Kyle said. So what? So what? Now, I'm not voting for no Joe Biden over Marianne Williamson's $7 trillion whack figure. If we allow her to lowball us like that, then they'll say you can't, and let's say we'll agree to the 7 instead of 70 trillion, because it is a bargain deal. All right, we'll agree. Let's say black people, don't you dare lowball yourself to that insignificant number. She's trying to play you for a fool. She think you're dumb, you're an idiot, and you don't know the value of you and your legacy. She ought to be ashamed of herself. And Cal, I'll tell you, she need to be ashamed of herself. Now, that made me even more animate about not voting for her and pushing people not to vote for her. And that's what I'm going to do. After seeing that little bit, I would tell every black person, you'll be a doggone fool. You'll be a fool to vote for Joe Biden? Yes. Well, you'll be a doggone fool to vote for Trump? Yes. But you're a doggone fool to vote for Ron DeSantis? Yes. But you're a dang on fool if you're going to be voting for Marianne Williamson. She's trying to lowball your legacy. And she sat there and said in a crowd of 5, so far as a populist, an outsider, the next Bernie Sanders campaign, and a room of 5 where she probably lost more money renting the room out than raised to pay for it. She don't have to come out of her own bank account to pay for that. She gonna sit there and tell this black man, this Freeman, who family come from the Gullah Geechee down south, worked the rice paddies, worked the rice fields, teaching white people how to till and make money off those fields, that you and your entire legacy of black, foundational black Americans, descendants of American slave, American descendants of slave, Native Black American, freedmen, whatever you want to call it, you only worth $7 trillion. And if you don't like my number, in a few years, find you another president. How about we gonna keep looking? And you can kiss her behind. Cal, your girl is a mess. And don't you dare look this way to get our support for this piece of work. Because I'm trying not to turn into Marianne Williamson right now and launch towards you and point the finger out. This lady is not a candidate for black people. She's a scam, con artist, and trying to lowball you. I respect Marianne Williamson for bringing up the reparation issue. She's been doing it for a while, even in her Course of Miracles. She's been asking people, white people, to ask for forgiveness in these meetings and asking black people in the meeting to forgive them. Which is okay, but you still owe. You still need to pay up. You still gonna pay. You shoot one of my family members, I may not stay in the rage for so long because I am a man of love, but you gonna pay. You just lucky you don't get to pay with a bullet of your own in your butt. But you will go to jail. And what you get there is your payment. Well, I'm not gonna sit here in public and forgive you and let somebody see me not be mad at you for what you done. No, I'm upset. And right now, Cal, I'm upset. You upset? Are you freaking kidding me because somebody said something negative about your girl, which could be true? You got the nerves to be upset. Your girl just sit here and lowball black people $7 trillion on a reparation plan. And you don't expect me to be upset? That is more arrogant, cocky, condescending, elitist, establishment, you name it. That is the most, words can't even express it. I'm trying not to cuss. That is worse than anything that you can ever think about. Marianne Williamson, not the candidate for black people, definitely not the candidate of me. And black people, if you're sitting up there supporting her campaign, black brother who sat there and tried to get in between her, you need to be a doggone shame of yourself. You may not be a native black American, you might be from Jamaica or somewhere like that, but even most islanders and people who are not descendants of American slave understand our plight and support us. Some of them don't, and they get called out for it, and they call them tethers and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I mean, you coming here to America to leech off the American dream, but you're gonna disrespect what we went through? No. Most of the people that come from the Caribbean now, I know, don't do that. My lady's a Caribbean. She's from the Caribbean. She don't do that. She understands what black people go through. I'm done. Boy, that last part just ticked me off. I'm just seeing that part. And boy, I'm going to use that to beat Marianne Williamson campaign upside the head. and including anybody that support her. Look out for me.